It's a different, I really do feel like there's a different attitude with the police.
With hundreds of officers all across Charlottesville this weekend, community activists say they're making sure everyone understands this is our town.
Hundreds of people have been coming into downtown Charlottesville as the city marks the one-year anniversary of last year's Torch March and Unite the Right rally.
Yeah, many feared a repeat of violence that broke out on UVA grounds and in downtown streets. But so far, everything's remained peaceful. NBC 29's Henry Graff is on the scene inside the secure perimeter area downtown. Hi, Henry.
Casey, Steve, good evening. Yeah, we are where all this started 1 year ago. We are now in Market Street Park. We've made our way here. There were a few people up here earlier, passersby just kind of checking in on things, getting a sense of how everything's blocked off here. You have the statue is still protected by the gates there. There's a secondary perimeter around it. And then again, this small swath of area that we're in right now is where you are able to come up here to the park, but dramatically different from this time last year if you were here. Though earlier today, a group of anti-fascists marched downtown with signs. One read, "Good night, white pride." Members entered the secure area here in downtown and walked to 4th Street. That group stopped for a moment of silence at the site of where that car attack happened that claimed the life of Heather Heyer. Also downtown today, we spoke with former Charlottesville Mayor Dave Norris and community activist Tanisha Hudson.
Well, things are quieting down again now as Charlottesville community marks the one-year anniversary since last year's violent white supremacist rallies. As the sun went down, protesters had turned up the volume.
What was supposed to be a rally for justice on grounds at UVA wound up as hordes of people chanting and marching through the streets of Charlottesville. NBC 29's Henry Graff was with the protesters and joins us live with the latest. Good evening, Henry.
Steve, Casey, good evening. Yeah, we can tell you off the top here that the streets of Charlottesville are quiet. What we really saw here tonight on this in the streets of Charlottesville was a reclaiming of space. Because remember, it was 1 year ago on this night that white supremacists descended on UVA in that surprise attack with their torches, instilling a lot of fear in people. Tonight, a different chant. Why are you right here? We don't see no riot here. Why are you right here? We don't see no riot here. UVA Students United, Black Lives Matter, anti-fascist, and community members joined forces for this protest. Chants included "No justice, no peace," "Take the statues down," and anti-police messages saying, quote, "Last year they came with torches. This year they came with badges." Now, this group started near the Rotunda and then took off through neighborhoods along Rugby Road, Preston Avenue, 10th Street, and West Main Street. They marched on the downtown mall, moved toward Market Street Park, but then turned away.
They weren't doing anything that was unlawful, and I asked them, you could see why the students would be upset when they see, you know, maybe 100 or so cops, or what it looks like 100 cops in riot gear. That just escalates the situation.
In the neighborhoods where those groups marched tonight, people came outside of their homes and from restaurants and businesses that we passed with applause and words of gratitude for those out in the streets. Here in the end, right now, group members say they will be back again tomorrow morning to protest. As for downtown, right now, as you can see behind me, there are still police cars, a heavy police presence here in downtown. But again, we can report all's quiet at this moment.
Henry Graff live for us in downtown Charlottesville tonight. Thank you, Henry. Back in Charlottesville, there was a lot of pain yet again today in the streets of downtown. Protesters wanting their voices and concerns heard.
It prompted rolling road closures earlier, but tonight restrictions are easing up around downtown. NBC 29's Henry Graff is on the downtown mall with the very latest on that. Hi, Henry.
Steve, Casey, good evening. Yeah, those blockades are just beginning to come down here in downtown Charlottesville. The mall crossings, including here at 4th Street, will remain closed through tomorrow, but the cops are leaving and all those fencing and everything else coming down. All this because the city says they believe all planned activities are done for the night, including protests. The pain was palpable in their voices. Another day, another reclaiming of what was taken from Charlottesville and the community 1 year ago when white supremacists descended on the city. The group took to the streets Sunday morning following an event in Washington Park. Members from Standing Up for Racial Justice, anti-fascist groups, and community members marched down Preston Avenue, where at one point police and demonstrators squared off. After that, they moved on to 4th Street Northwest and then West Main Street to the site where Heather Heyer died and countless others were injured last year at 4th and Water Streets. Some in the group went inside the restricted area to pay their respects. Others stood outside the secure area to protest police. They were denied access by police. In this demonstration, 2 arrests were made. A 29-year-old from Maine faces charges for spitting in the face of a demonstrator and having a metal baton. Along Preston Avenue, 42-year-old Jesse Beard of Charlottesville was charged with obstructing free passage for blocking police attempting to provide safe passage for the marchers. Back out here live in an unrelated event, 2 other people were arrested today as well.